And we are your election headquarters. Former President John Dramani Mahama is accusing President Akufo-Addo of discarding his 40-year development plan and replacing that with the Ghana Beyond Aid plan that has now turned Ghana into a nation that begs. Speaking at the 9th Ghana CEO Network Business Cocktail here in Accra, he indicated that the 24-hour economy policy originates from the 40-year development plan put together by the National Development Planning Commission when he was president, which he says has now been ignored by the current government.
Many have shut down their businesses, and hundreds of thousands of workers who were laid off are still at home. Businesses that moved their headquarters from Ghana to our neighboring countries have not returned. The poorly thought through banking sector cleanup has left thousands of skilled financial sector workers jobless and impoverished. And as I speak, the second tranche of the IMF's extended credit facility, which was due on 1st November, has still not been received because of a delay by external creditors to sign off on our debt restructuring program. Of course, the consequence of our debt default has also started manifesting. For the first time in 30 years, Ghana struggled to put together a cocoa syndication loan, which had almost become a routine activity on our financial calendar. Major infrastructural projects have ground to a halt because lenders have cut funding as a direct fallout from our debt default. Independent power producers continue to threaten power cuts due to mounting debts that affect their operations. One of the producers threatened a few days ago to take out 560 megawatts of power before a promise to pay was made. Ghanaians face grave uncertainty if more of these independent power producers follow suit. As a proud Ghanaian and a political leader, it is disheartening for me that government has severely damaged our country's reputation on the global stage. Recent data from available research shows the cost of living in Ghana is very high and people are struggling to make ends meet due to the economic downturn. This includes pensioners who invested their life savings in government bonds, hoping to enjoy a better life in retirement. Business confidence remains low, with private sector credit declining in real terms. As of October 2023, credit to the private sector had decreased significantly by 31.6%. And this is because of the government's excessive borrowing over the last 7 years and its reliance on the short-term treasury market. Lending rates increased to over 32% in October 2023 due to the Bank of Ghana's tight monetary policy, high treasury bill rates, and rising non-performing loans. The immutable reality is that the first 3 quarters of the year 2023 have also been a tragic period for Ghana's industries, causing a setback for the country's economic transformation. While the mining and quarrying sector is still holding out, most subsectors such as construction, electricity, water supply, sewage, and waste management have experienced a decline. These are clear signs of an ailing economy, an economy whose industrial base is failing and businesses collapsing with growing unemployment and its associated poverty and misery.
Well, the governing New Patriotic Party is challenging the claims of the former president. Joining us now is a presidential staffer, Dennis Miracles Abuaji. Thank you, sir, for spending some time with us. The former president there alarmed about the status of the economy. But, of course, we know it's of no surprise, not even to the president, that the economy is indeed ailing. What's your take, first of all, on the proposition that we go back to the National Development Planning Commission and then take a look at the 40-year development plan and pick up, the lessons from the 24-hour economy?
In the 40-year development plan. And
Dennis, I'm having challenges hearing you. If you could just come up a bit for me.
Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear, sir.
Okay, I was asking if you have actually seen the 40-year development plan as well. And if you have, if you can point out the 24-hour economy in there for us to discuss. It's quite easy to recount the obvious challenges that the economy is going through. One that has been acknowledged by everybody in government, with all of its causes quite known to everybody, including himself, the former president, who has already stated when he had his forum at one of the foreign universities, and then admitted clearly that one of the things affecting our economy today is as a result of COVID. COVID-19 has been devastating to the global economy. It has disrupted the global supply chain all over the world.
Dennis, I'm having difficulties hearing you. I was just, if we can just try one more time, about how, government intends to welcome this proposition or about the 24-hour economy. Can we...
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Is it better?
That's better. Yes, that's better. Right.
So I was saying that it's very easy for the former president to just recount the obvious challenges and difficulties. That is very easy. What he fails to do is to give a clear indication as to what is being done to resolve this challenge that is part of the global economic difficulties that all other countries are going through, and how he believes he has a superior alternative to what we are trying to put in place to resolve some of these things. But come on, is there any country in the world today that is not going through these difficulties? He himself has admitted on several platforms outside this country that the Ghanaian economy is going through crisis as a result of the exogenous challenges with COVID-19. He himself is on record to have said that. And so if you acknowledge the cause of this challenge, the primary cause of this challenge, and we're all working together to be able to resolve some of these things, it's not enough for you to just recount. It's important for you to tell us how you believe you have a superior alternative to what is being put in place to resolve this once and for all. The challenges we face today in 2023 are definitely not the same challenges we faced in the second part of 2022. It's obvious that since 2022 to now, we have seen some improvements from where we were in 2022. And today, that is why today you see some stability in terms of our CD against the dollar since January to now, unlike we experienced between March 2022 to December 2022. Today, the dollar that went all the way to about 17 cedis in somewhere in November 2022 is around 12 cedis in 2023. That shows a stark improvement from where we were. The prices of fuel went so high as at the end of 2022. You see it declining steadily in 2023. We saw prices of goods go up so high in 2022. Today, when you go to the market, some of these goods that we use, you can see the prices going down as we speak. I mean, vegetable oil, the big ones with the yellow gallons were selling around 1,500 to 1,800 somewhere late last year. Today, it's come all the way to our 500 to 550 cedis. We know the government intervention when it comes to dealing with the skyrocketing fuel prices. When government decided to introduce a good for oil initiative to try and reduce our demand for forex, so we stabilize our currency and see some improvement in our fuel prices. And you can see its positive impact. And so it's important that if we are going to have this kind of conversation, then the former president should not just be listing the obvious, the things that every other country knows and every other country is going through, but also indicate that these are the things that the government is putting in place. This is the result so far. I believe that I have a superior alternative to what the government is putting in place, and this is my superior alternative. Then the people of Ghana can judge. As for the challenges, they are here with us, just as they are with the United States of America, which is experiencing a 40-year-old inflation, something they have never seen in a very long time. So if the former president is recounting things that are happening in Ghana that we haven't seen in so many years, it is because there are things happening in the global world that were unforeseen, that all other countries are going through it and are trying to get their solution.
And away from the politics of it, is this not a policy measure that government is thinking of adopting, at least, even if it's a political statement that has been made by someone who wants to become president?
Well, I mean, you are calling because someone who wants to become president had made a statement, and that would have to be interrogated. And so the point is that I've outlined to you actions that governments have put in place since the most difficult period in 2022 to try and stabilize our currency. And I've mentioned the gold for oil, and I've shown you how its rippling effect is possibly impacting prices of goods in the market. And so the question should be going to the one who made that statement, that these are the things that government is doing. What is your alternative? You initially mentioned the 40-year development plan, and you mentioned 24 hours. And I asked you, have you seen the 40-year development plan yourself? And can you point which state has a 24-hour policy? And specifically, what did the 24-hour policy in the 40-year development plan say? Then we can be having a conversation. As we speak, the National Development Planning Commission has a Ghana at 100 development plan. The 40-year development plan that the former president speaks of was going to run and end in 2057. The current development plan, that is the Ghana at 100 development plan, National Development Plan, that the National Development Planning Commission has, also ends in 2057. Anchored in that policy, in that plan, is industrialization. And that is why, for the first time, you have a government that has a deliberate strategy geared towards leading and working with private sector to industrialize this country. It takes a while, it takes time, but there's a blueprint and there's evidence of some of these things happening. Look at what is happening in the automobile industry. Since the 50s and the 60s, when did you see car manufacturing companies actually assembling vehicles in this country to reduce the pressure that we have on our forests? But it is happening. Look at the number of factories that are dotted across the country, albeit not covering every space. There is evidence of these factories that are deliberately led and engineered by government to try and industrialize our economy. So the questions you're asking are already playing out. And so if you really want to be able to understand what the former president is saying, then you should take the question back to him that, Mr. President, the government has basically led an industrialized venture, working with private sector, developing and adding value to the things that we produce in our district. The government has introduced policies to try to stabilize our currency through the Gold for Oil initiative. The government has a whole transformational plan in terms of our automobile companies, which currently has about 4 or 5 automobile companies assembling in this country. What is your alternative? You can't just recount the challenges and then walk away.
Okay.
And so I think you should go back to the former president and get your answer.
Okay, then. Thank you, Dennis, for joining us. And, of course, Dennis Miracles Abuaji's presidential staff are joining the conversation here on The Pulse. You're with us. And still to come, Minister for Local Governance, that's Dan Bocho, is rallying the public to participate massively in the upcoming district-level elections. It's coming up shortly.
I entreat my honourable members of Parliament in this August House to whip up enthusiasm of the electorate to turn out on Tuesday, 19 December 2023, and vote massively for the representatives to their respective district assemblies and unit committees.